I want to go deeper now and tell you how this whistleblower complaint actually does something that almost never happens in real time. You usually have to wait years for history books to take you inside the White House, moment by moment, in this kind of call, with senior aides deeply concerned about what Trump was doing, others joining into what could be an alleged cover-up. A key piece of the puzzle could be these other witnesses. Look at how the whistleblower says more than half a dozen officials agreed Trump was colluding with the Ukrainian president to investigate a political rival. That's part of the plot. And that multiple officials recounted fact patterns consistent with one another, with each other. There are other staffers who were allegedly complicit, senior White House officials trying to, quote, lock down the evidence of the call, putting the transcript on a separate server, sound familiar, to store classified information, meaning using the levers of security power to cover up this potential alleged crime. Former White House official turned Trump critic Scaramucci saying, work for a criminal like Trump on this story and, quote, you become one. Which brings us to Bill Barr. You remember the 4-page summary. He's also the person who's not investigating this complaint when it first came into the DOJ, which he runs. And the whistleblower may give context to why, alleging that Barr, quote, appears to be involved as well. Meanwhile today, acting DNI Chief McGuire talked about how that complaint got to DOJ.
I have consulted with the White House counsel, and eventually we also consulted with the Department of Justice Office of Legal Counsel.
Do you think it's appropriate that you go to a department run by someone who's the subject of the complaint to get advice, or who is a subject of the complaint or implicated in the complaint, for advice as to whether you should provide that complaint to Congress?
Sir, I have to work with what I've got.
I have to work with what I've got. What he's got is a president who hollowed out the leadership of the FBI over a different collusion probe, which is why that short answer may be one of the most revealing parts of today's hearing. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.